Stand up and raise your right hand. In that single command, lives can change forever. And inside the Miami-Dade bond court, change happens fast. Defendants line up, some nervous, some confused, and one even asleep, until a sharp reminder pulls him back to reality. This is not just another courtroom morning. This is where Judge Mindy Glazer decides futures in minutes. As the room settles, she makes her announcements with calm authority, explaining that a public defender will be appointed unless someone can afford private counsel. She asks about military service, a routine question, yet one that can quietly alter the course of a hearing. Good mornings are exchanged, but the tension never leaves the air. Over the next few hours, dozens of defendants will step forward, hear their charges, and step away, some free for now, others not. Then Arthur Booth approaches. At 49 years old, his face tells a long story before the paperwork even begins. He is charged with burglary, grand theft, fleeing, and resisting arrest. The details pile up quickly: reckless driving, property damage, leaving the scene of a crash. The judge corrects herself. No serious injury. Still, the list is heavy. Booth answers politely, almost softly, a man who has stood in this position many times before. The judge reviews 3 arrest affidavits, explaining each count clearly and without judgment. When the bond is discussed, it sounds like any other case. $7,500 for the first charge. Routine, predictable. But then something unexpected happens. Judge Glazer pauses, studies Booth's face, and asks a question no defendant expects to hear in bond court. Did you go to Nautilus Middle School? The room changes instantly, and so does everything that follows. For a moment, Arthur Booth doesn't respond. Then recognition hits, and emotion rushes in faster than words. Oh my goodness. The judge recognizes him too, not as a defendant, but as a child she once knew. A good kid, one of the nicest in middle school, someone full of promise. Her voice trembles as she speaks, and Booth breaks down. The courtroom, usually a place of formality and distance, becomes deeply human. Judge Glazer remembers playing football with him and watching him grow alongside other students. She says she always wondered what happened to him, and now, painfully, she has her answer. Booth can barely hold himself together as years of regret surface in seconds. This is not anger or judgment. This is loss. What follows is not an excuse, but an explanation of a life that slowly unraveled. Arthur Booth, once a promising student, fell into drug addiction. Gambling followed. Then came small crimes, arrests, and prison sentences that repeated like a cycle he couldn't escape. Each poor decision carried him further away from the person his teachers once believed he would become. Judge Glazer speaks with compassion, reminding him of who he was before the system ever knew his name. She tells him she is sorry to see him here, and that statement carries the weight of years. Despite the emotion, the court must continue. The law still applies. Bonds are still set. Responsibilities remain. Judge Glazer explains the final decision clearly and firmly. The total bond comes to $43,000. No favoritism, no exceptions, just fairness balanced with humanity. She offers him something else, though, something more meaningful than words, a sincere wish that he comes out of the situation and chooses a lawful life. Good luck, she says. It is not a casual phrase. It is a plea. Booth nods, still overwhelmed, asking again if it is really her. As deputies prepare to escort him away, the moment lingers. 2 classmates reunited, not at a reunion hall, but in a courtroom, facing the reality of paths taken and opportunities lost. The hearing ends, but its impact does not. Arthur Booth is taken away, sentenced to 10 months in prison following this case. Unlike many others who cycle endlessly through the system, his story takes a different turn afterward. Once released, he is placed into a drug treatment program, a chance at breaking the pattern that defined his adult life. Whether that chance is taken or not remains unknown, but the moment in court stands as a stark reminder of how thin the line can be between potential and downfall. Bond court moves on quickly. Another name is called, another defendant steps forward. Yet this case stays with those who witnessed it. Judge Glazer returns to her role, composed once again, but the emotion beneath the surface is impossible to ignore. In a single morning, she is reminded that every file on her desk represents not just charges, but a person who was once a child, once hopeful, once headed somewhere else. The courtroom does not usually allow space for reflection, but occasionally reality forces its way in. Arthur Booth's journey reflects a broader truth about the justice system. It does not begin in handcuffs. It begins years earlier, shaped by choices, circumstances, addictions, and missed interventions. By the time someone stands before a judge, the story is already long. That is why moments like this are so powerful. They pull back the curtain and show what is often forgotten. These are not just criminals. They are former students, teammates, neighbors, and friends. As the courtroom continues its steady rhythm of hearings and decisions, this unexpected reunion fades into memory, but its impact remains clear. Life does not always collapse in one moment. It erodes over time. And sometimes the only place where the past and present collide is under fluorescent lights, with a raised right hand and a judge who remembers who you used to be.